This is an All Ears English podcast, episode 874. Now you're talking how to show that you resonate with something in English.
Welcome to the All Ears English podcast. Downloaded more than 50 million times, we believe in connection, not perfection. With your American hosts, Lindsay McMahon, the English adventurer, and Michelle Kaplan, the New York radio girl, coming to you from Boston and New York City, USA. And to get your transcripts delivered by email every week, go to allearsenglish.com/subscribe. Today, a listener asks us how to use the phrase, now you're talking. Find out what it means and how to use it to help people understand you better in English. Hey, Michelle, question for you.
Okay, hi. What's the question?
Hey. Is there anything that recently you've seen a surge of progress in your life? Like anything like I don't know how to frame this question. But anything that you've seen like this phrase, now you're talking, right? So when do you use that phrase, Michelle?
Okay, well, that was a lot of
I know. It's an awkward start
I just got
today.
confused. Okay, a surge of progress. I'll start. I've been playing more piano lately, so I can tell that even like I started with, I hadn't played in a while, and so I started with the easy books, and even those were hard for me. And I can notice, I know now like that the easy books I can go in and very quickly play things. So
wow, that's cool. That's
yeah.
Cool.
So and now I'm kind of working on more medium to hard things. So that's good for me.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, you said a few weeks ago on the show that you were going to try to pick up piano again and you've done it. Yeah. So that's cool. Is it kind of relaxing? It's like kind of nice and like relaxing?
Yeah, it is relaxing. It is. It's definitely a stress relief.
Yeah, I love that. And if I were to try to use this phrase, now you're talking in our conversation here, would that fit, do you think, more or less?
Because it's kind of like, that I'm doing something right. I'm in the right direction, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're on the right track, right?
Right.
I love that. So that's what today's episode is about, with my awkward start to the episode today.
I liked it though. It was fun. It was unique. It was special.
It was very awkward, but that's okay. We can all be awkward once in a while.
That's right.
Let's show our listeners a little sample role play before we get into this phrase in today's episode. Okay. Are you ready? Okay.
All right.
So what should I get your mom for her birthday?
Well, what are your ideas?
Well, I was thinking maybe some new socks or a wool sweater.
She's not a big clothes person. She loves new experiences, though.
Oh, how about a lift ticket to ski at Stowe for a day?
Now you're talking. She'd like that. See, that was my awkward part of the role play. I couldn't scroll down.
Now you're talking. She'd like that. So when you said that, like, what did that signal?
It's like, yes, that's the right idea.
That's it. Exactly. You got it. Yep. Okay, good. So before we get into today's episode, guys, I want to remind you that you do want to have the transcripts in the new year for every episode, and you can save 50% on the price if you go to allearsenglish.com/subscribe. Okay.
Yes.
So we have a question. It's from our listener, Andrej. And he was the one who sent in like 16 questions, right?
Nice.
16 good questions. Could you read the question, Michelle?
Sure. When do you use the phrase, now you're talking? I've heard it several times and I think I get the meaning, but I'm afraid of using it. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. I see what you mean, why you're afraid of it, because it seems like it's starting to use language in a more, a less literal way, right?
Right.
Yeah, but when do we use it, Michelle? Let's make this clear for Andrej so that you can start to own this phrase and feel more confident. When do we use this phrase?
Well, like when we want to indicate that someone has said something that resonates, right? So it could often be used when talking about food or decisions.
Yeah, exactly. So literally it means now you're making sense. Like now what you're saying is resonating with me, right? That's literally what it means. If you're enjoying this podcast and you're learning a lot, the best compliment you can give us is by subscribing to the show. Hit subscribe now on your podcast player. Leave us a review. Tell us what you think. Tell us what questions you have for 2018, and we'll read your name out on the show. Thanks, guys.
Right. Exactly. So should we try a little role play?
I think we should do another role play to give some examples here. So
right.
Why don't you start this one off, Michelle?
Sure. Hey, want to get dinner later?
Okay, sure. But what do you want?
I don't know. Maybe a salad or something.
I don't know. I'm craving pizza.
Okay, how about we go to Pizzeria Uno and get a deep dish?
Now you're talking.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so I'm on the right track. I said something Lindsay liked.
You said something like, and it's interesting because when we first opened this episode, you used the phrase, now you're talking instead of talking. Why do we drop the G at the end of that?
Yeah, because it sounds more natural, right? We don't really say, now you're talking.
Right. Why? Why don't we say that? Is it because it's a chunk? It's just a phrase? It's an expression?
Yeah, it just is more natural, like to drop that G. It's an expression.
Yeah, I think when the ing comes in an expression, often we would drop that G. Just because it's more of a chunk. It's like a familiar chunk that you know what you're saying, you know the other person understands what you're saying. It's like an unspoken thing.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
That is interesting. What are some other phrases that mean the same thing?
All right. Well, that sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Or that's it. Or that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, these are all good, but they don't have the exact same meaning.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's do a quick role play, Michelle. One more role play. Our listeners, they love role plays.
It's good to give a lot of different ways to use it, for sure.
It is. So let's do it. So here we go. So where should we plan our next vacation?
Oh, I don't know. What were you thinking?
Maybe a ski vacation like Stowe?
It's been such a cold winter that I'd rather go someplace warm, put my toes in the sand and get a sunburn.
Okay, how about Aruba?
Now you're talking. That sounds good.
Okay, very nice. Again, perfect example. There are actually a lot of situations where this is useful, this phrase.
Right. And I like it, as you can see, it's like, now you're talking. So it almost shows that, as you can see with your last thing you said, that didn't resonate with me, but now you said something, right? So that you wouldn't just say oh, you're talking. Right. The key is to kind of use it, right? When maybe in the past you weren't doing something right, or you didn't do a suggestion, you didn't give a good suggestion that the person agreed with, but now you are.
Yeah, that's a good point, Michelle. And I think the other thing is the tone of voice is huge here.
Yeah.
Because you didn't say, now you're talking, right? You said, now you're talking, right? What are you emphasizing? Now you're talking.
The now.
So clearly it's emphasizing the contrast. Like before you weren't resonating with me and now you are. Okay.
Right.
So
right. Exactly.
Really good skill for connection here. Geez, Andres has some really good questions, and this is a great one. This is a connection phrase. Okay. Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what should we leave our listeners with today, Michelle?
As always, try the phrase, right? And listen for it. It shows enthusiasm, right? Especially if you say it in the way that we said, now you're talking, it shows that you're enthusiastic about the person getting on the right track, right? And Go ahead.
No,
I mean, it just brings about connection, right? Because you're kind of saying, oh, yeah, I'm excited about this. I agree with you. And it can even bring you closer to the person, right?
Yeah, it can bring you closer, especially because it can help them understand you better. Understand what you like, what you don't like, who you are in the world. Do you want to go skiing or do you want to go to Aruba? Those are two kind of different moods, different personalities, different preferences. So show yourself to the world and show the world what resonates with you and doesn't with this phrase, guys. Very cool.
For sure. I love it.
Okay, awesome. This has been great, Michelle. Well, thanks for hanging out. It's a short episode today, but I think we got our point across for Andrej and our listeners, and great hanging out.
Yeah, you too. All right. Thanks for the good question and have a good one.
All right. Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to All Ears English. And if you need a 7 or higher on your IELTS exam to achieve your life vision, then our Insider Method can get you there. Start with our free video series masterclass. Get video 1 now at allearsenglish.com/INSIDER. And if you believe in connection, not perfection, then subscribe to our show on your phone or on your computer. See you next time.